Hello friends, myself Viraj and welcome to One Day One Answer initiative of GS Core. In this initiative, what do is we take up a theme and then we discuss that theme from the point of view of UPSC main. As in, we discuss what UPSC expects you to know in a particular theme. Alright, then what we do is we discuss answer to a question provided by us. After that, we will provide you a practice question. You have to write answer to it and send it to us. We'll get it evaluated and we will give you suggestion as to how you can write a better answer. So the core principle or the core objective of this initiative is to enhance your answer writing skills. I hope you use it for your betterment. Today's subject of discussion will be Indian polity, and in Indian polity we will be taking into consideration the theme of executives. One of the most important themes, I will say, from mains point of view. Every year questions are expected and questions do appear from this theme. Alright, so first and foremost let us discuss what is the executive organ of the government. Dekho, executive organ of the government is that organ of the government which implements policies and laws decided by the legislature. Okay? Law making body, once it makes the law, it is responsibility of the executive to implement those particular laws. Okay? If you take into consideration a judicial definition, what definition has judiciary given with respect to executive and the work that executive does? Supreme Court has said executive branch of government is that branch of government which commits itself to the work that is not done by the legislature and the judiciary. So whatever work is left out of the ambit of legislature and the judiciary, that work is performed by the executive branch. That work basically is performed by the executive branch. Alright. On basis of the theme of executives, what has UPSC asked till now? Okay, and why I am saying what has UPSC asked till now? Because we expect, basically we expect on those lines for the questions to be repeated. We'll look into that. Before that, let me tell you, when it comes to polity, there are only 4 things that we have to take into consideration in general while reading. You have to study from the point of view of what UPSC wants you to know. Okay, UPSC does not want you to get into super specialization, so you have to, in the mind itself, you have to map or you have to pinpoint certain aspects so that while reading itself, you are oriented towards answer writing. Now in Indian polity, there are 4 such points on which questions are asked in general. What are those points? First and foremost, constitutional provisions. Second, importance of that provision. Okay. First and foremost, constitutional provision. Second, I will say importance of that particular provision. Third, I will say problems with respect to that provisions, challenges with respect to that provisions, and last I will say reforms needed to make that provision better. Now, जब आप पढ़ रहे हो तो इन 4 पॉइंट्स को याद रखना. Read from the point of view of these 4 points, you will be automatically oriented towards answer writing. Okay? Now let us get into executive itself and look into those pointers on the basis of which questions are framed. Okay? First, I will say UPSC is interested in you knowing types of executives. Types of executives. Okay. Why I say this? India follows parliamentary form of government. In parliamentary form of government, basically there are 2 types of executives. One is de jure. De jure means in whose name decisions are taken, in whose name decisions of the government are taken. And then there is de facto. And there is de facto executive. De facto executive basically is the one who takes the decision. De facto is the one who will take the decision. De jure is the one who in whose name the decision will be taken. So what is important for you? To know their position. For example, it is important for you to know the position of President of India. under the constitution. It is important for you to know the position of prime minister. It is important for you to know the positioning of union cabinet. It is important for you to know at the state level the positioning of the governor under Indian constitution. Okay, so types of executives, that means you have to know the positioning of a particular executive under the Indian constitution, no doubt about that. Second, based on the positioning, you have to know the responsibilities. That means you are expected to know powers and functions. Powers and functions of different executives. Apart from powers and functions, because it is oriented towards responsibilities, now you are also supposed to know the limitations of a particular executive office, what an executive office cannot do. Again, in connection to responsibility itself, there is an important theme. In connection to responsibility itself, there is an important theme, important sub-theme within the executive, and that is accountability. How accountability? देखो, India is a democratic country, so obviously executives have to provide explanations for their answers. They have to give reasons for their answers, right? So to whom those reasons or answers have to be given, and what is the process of it? All right. So how does constitution ensure that the cabinet remains accountable, and to whom it remains accountable? To whom and in what way the prime minister remains accountable? So accountability is a theme on which you are expected to have information for the purpose of writing answers. All right. Next type of questions, next type of theme on which, next type of sub-theme I will say, on which questions are asked are comparative in nature. For example, comparison between the office of Indian president and the office of American president or the French president. Comparison between the positioning of Indian prime minister and say Sri Lankan prime minister. All right, whichever constitutional position from any other country is in news, that you have to focus upon, because comparison between that constitutional position of a foreign country and our position, and position with respect to our executive in India, that may be questioned. For example, 2 years ago there was a question, 2 or 3 years ago there was a question between election process of Indian president and the French president. Now that question was basically asked because, you know, very recent to the examination, that year's examination, elections of Indian president and French president took place. Okay. Then we come to there is a minute chance, though there is a chance of question being asked on role of permanent executive. देखो, permanent executives are those who are appointed for life. Civil servants, ठीक है, they are basically civil servants. Temporary executives are the ones whom we elect. All right, and they have to seek re-election. Most of the times the question will be on temporary executives, but sometimes what will happen is the question will be on permanent executives. What you have to know with respect to permanent executive, more specifically, it is first and foremost their accountability, and second is protection provided to them for they acting independently. Again I repeat, accountability and protection provided for them to act independently. All right, last I will say challenges that executive offices in India face. For example, governors in India. Now this is a repetitive theme that UPSC has concentrated upon, how to basically make governors more neutral. ठीक है, So that is a challenge, that governor's office in India has not been unbiased. It has not been unbiased, है ना? So those type of questions, challenges related to executive office, are the ones that UPSC is expected to ask you. And obviously what you have to also know, which challenges is the way in which the same can be reformed, the way in which the same can be basically reformed. All right, now let us go, guys, to the specific question. Now let us go to the specific question. And let us see how to answer that question. How to basically answer that question. Okay, the question is, coalition government are usually of a temporary alliance and hence they impose constraint on policy making. All right. Critically examine the role of coalition government in Indian democracy by giving suitable examples. Okay, so what does the question? First and foremost, read questions first in parts and then together. Understand individual meaning of each part of the question, and then understand the wholesome meaning of it. All right. Second thing, while answering the question or before answering the question, before starting to answer the question or before thinking about what the answer should be, focus upon core meaning of the central theme or the central concept of the question. Yahan pe in this particular question, the central concept is coalition government. It is coalition government. What you have to do is, you have to recall the definition of the central concept. Even if you do not write that definition, that is completely fine. It may be the case that you face paucity of time, you face paucity of word limits. So even if you do not write that definition, although I will suggest you to write the definition at least in the question that is of 250 words, I will suggest you to compulsorily write the definition. But even if you do not write the question, now I want you to recall the meaning of that concept. Why? Because once you recall the meaning of that concept, that concept will open up to you and you will start recalling more points related to the concept in the backdrop of the question. So once I recall what is coalition government, what will happen is limitations related to coalition governments will start coming to me. I'll start, mentally I will start recalling limitations related to coalition government. If I directly jump, देखो question का central theme is limitations of coalition government in a way, right? So if I directly jump to limitations of coalition government, now what may happen is I may not connect the points. I may not get to the points. But once I have dissected the central concept, now what has happened is it has opened up, and slowly and steadily, because the definition is clear in front of me, more points will start to come to me. More points will now start to come to me. Okay. One more thing, let me state it at the outset itself. Do not consider writing answers in 7 minutes or 9 minutes at this point of time. Dekho, writing answers in 7 minutes or 9 minutes, as the toppers will obviously say that they practiced or they were able to write answers in 7 or 9 minutes. Now dekho, that is a destination. That is the destination. You are still in the process. ठीक है, तो आंसर लिखो. If it takes 15 minutes, no problem. If it takes 30 minutes, no problem. That 30 minutes will come down to 9 minutes, 7 minutes. All right. But if you write with the intent of completing the answers in 7 minutes right now, it will never happen and you will be demotivated. So likho. First I will say write, and then we can work upon it. Then we can basically work upon it. ठीक है. Now when I see this question, coalition governments are usually of temporary alliance and hence they impose constraints on policy making. What does it mean? It means the examiner wants you to know limitations of coalition government. That is certain. That basically is certain. Then what it says, critically examine the role of coalition governments in Indian democracy by giving suitable example. It is saying critically examine. So critically examine matlab, in the beginning what you have to do is, you have to write demerits with respect to it. Alright, obviously some merits will also come, but you have to take into consideration coalition government from a critical point of view. You have to take into consideration coalition governments and the way they have worked in India and the results they have provided from a critical viewpoint. Some merits obviously will come at the later part of the answer. ठीक है? What will be constituents of my answers? First and foremost, in the introduction, what I will do is I will define coalition governments. And also please remember, it is asking you to answer the question with suitable examples. When it is specifically asked, na suitable examples, देखो, if it was suitable example was not mentioned, na, then I would have wrote this answer, I would write this answer from theoretical perspective, ठीक है, and provided some examples. Now because they are asking you to write the answers with suitable examples, that means you have to make examples the centrality. So it is expected now from you कि आप examples दोगे and around that examples ना you will write your theory. So please take that into consideration. In polity na, if suppose the question is on a particular concept and then what the UPSC says is, or what the question says is, explain it with suitable case laws. That means उस आंसर में ना case laws will be at the centrality and your theory will be around those case laws. Otherwise क्या होता है ना, theory is center and you have to provide case laws to support your theory. That is the difference. I hope you understand. Okay. So in the first part, what is expected from me? Definition of coalition government. In the first part or in the introduction, I will mention the definition of coalition government. So what basically is definition of coalition government? Coalition government is a type of government in which multiple parties come together. For what purpose? For the purpose of achieving majority, which will enable them to form government. That basically is coalition government. What does it do in the introduction itself? Provide the hint of what is expected in the later part of the answer. तो ये definition हो गया. अब definition के बाद ना next sentence should be coalition governments, because it is made up of multiple parties. What happens is it may lead to on many occasions deadlocks, thus restraining the decision taking capabilities of the government. All right. So through this, what I have done is I have provided in the beginning itself a glimpse of what to expect. Next, in the next paragraph, this will be in a way transition, I will say. ठीक है, from your introduction to your main body. In this particular paragraph, what I will do is I will provide a historical glimpse of coalition governments in India. So what I will do is I will mention that the first coalition government in India was established in 1977. All right, it was in 1977. That is the Janata Party government. ठीक है, though the first coalition government to complete its full term was of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. All right, was of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. After that, Dr. Manmohan Singh led two coalition governments to their full term. It was his leadership that provided for completion of terms of two coalition governments. Though what has been noticed about coalition government is they tend to drag the decision making process, because consensus has to be established, because consensus between different political parties has to be established. Okay. Now what we will do is we will move to the first part of your main body. In the first part of your main body, you have to take into consideration, क्या पूछा है, क्या बोला है बैकग्राउंड स्टेटमेंट में, coalition governments are usually temporary alliances and hence they impose constraints on policy making. ठीक है, Now prove it with points. Now prove it with points. Temporary feature and their constants. First point that has to be mentioned with respect to the political instability that was brought in the decades of 90s, late 80s, early 90s or 90s in itself till 1999. What it led to? It led to formation of several governments. It led to formation of several governments, and what it did lead to? It did lead to destabilization of policy making process or semi-paralysis of the policy making process. The same has been observed in states of India. For example, Goa. For example, Uttarakhand. The states that have consistently being under coalition government, what do we see is their economic growth not being up to their potential. Their economic growth basically not being to their potential. Coalition governments, because of this inability to take quick decisions or to take decisions at a faster rate, what it has also led to is developmental deficit. Developmental deficits, hence creating problems for citizens of India. Now, time for example, Dr. Manmohan Singh, taking into consideration the slow pace at which governmental work underwent during his tenure, what he said was he has to follow coalition dharma. So what it basically suggests is, your point now, what it basically suggests is coalition government के वजह से, because of coalition government, decision making slows down, and even the leader of the government in himself is not able to address the same. Even he or she is constrained by it. Not only that, coalition governments in the past have not allowed action to be taken against those ministers who are charged or alleged to be involved in corrupt practices. Alright. Now what we will do is, as I told you, some merits can be also provided. Even if it is critically examined. Now, you are examining, some critical points will come, some positive points will also come. Critical examination mein, first emphasis has to be given on critical points, and then some points of positive nature can be added. So what does coalition government do? Coalition government gives wider representation, and it is necessary. Wider representation is necessary for a diverse society like India. Second thing, it provides better say of states. Coalition government mein what has been one peculiarity, that state parties have greater say. State parties are involved in the coalition governments, and when state parties are involved, Indian government at the center looks more federal, and takes decision based upon orientation of states also. Coalition governments also provides a ground for a middle ground, I will say, for ideologies. Hence, what we see is a middle path government in the era of coalition politics. Alright. What has also been seen, what has also been noted, even with the argument of development deficit, coalition government has provided to India in past exceedingly well economic growth. For example, the time of Atal Bihari Vajpayee and the time of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. During this time, India became amongst the fastest growing economies of the world, amongst the fastest growing economies of the world. Now coming to the conclusion, what you will be mentioning in the conclusion is basically summarizing of what you have written. All right, so Dr. Ambedkar, in conclusion you can basically quote founding fathers or a constitutional expert or Supreme Court of India or any constitutional body. यहाँ पे we will be quoting Dr. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar says that any constitution can be molded into the best one if leaders ruling the country have right integrity towards the people. The same is applicable to the coalition government. Even with coalition government, therefore, what may happen is development and economic growth. Development and economic growth. So it is based upon people in that particular setup and how they orient it and how they basically orient the system. All right, so this will be your conclusion. In conclusion, na, directly do not express your do not express your displeasure towards coalition government. Coalition government, what you have to mention is it will be oriented to a particular direction. It will be oriented to a particular direction based upon the orientation of the people who are part of it. That's it. ठीक है, तो पूरा blame you have to not put on coalition governments also. पूरा blame you do not have to put on coalition governments also. All right, that's it from my side, guys. What I will suggest you is to write the answer that has been provided, that has been pinned in the comment section. All right, I will take care of your evaluation and I will provide recommendations to you, and we can also have mentorship session based upon it. Thank you so much. Bye.